Hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the evolution of media from emergence to convergence. First, let's talk about paradigms. What are paradigms? A paradigm is a model that helps us better understand the world. Paradigms are often used in art, literature, history, law, science, and the media. Paradigms can be useful, but please don't accept them at face value. For many centuries, people believed the earth was flat, until that paradigm shifted. Now we know the earth is spherical. When the society accepts a new way of looking at things, paradigms can shift. These days, people in the United States are challenging the status quo on race relations, using peaceful protests to bring an end to systemic racism, but paradigms are often difficult to change. One paradigm we're going to talk about involves media. We believe media evolves in 4 stages. Stage 1, emergence or novelty. Inventors try to solve a problem. For example, transmitting images without wires, that led to television, or sending mail electronically. That led to the internet. Entrepreneurial stage. Inventors and investors see a way to market a new device. 3, the mass medium stage. The medium gains acceptance of the masses. And 4, the convergence stage. Older media are reconfigured into newer media. Think streaming movies, songs, TV, and radio. Let's use this paradigm to look at newspapers, which is the first medium we're going to be discussing in this class. First, the emergence or novelty stage. The Acta Diurna is said to be the earliest newspaper. It was a gazette of daily news created by Julius Caesar, the ruler of the Roman Empire in 59 before the Common Era. Of course, this was a government-sponsored gazette, not an independent news source. We have examples of both kinds of newspapers today. Block printing emerged in China in 1045, but it wasn't until 1453 when German inventor Johannes Gutenberg created a movable type printing press that mass production of newspapers became possible. The entrepreneurial stage. Gutenberg's printing press brought revolutionary change to the world, which is similar to the development of the internet. It led to increased literacy and political, social, and cultural change. Soon, mass-produced books, newspapers, and magazines emerged throughout Western Europe. The first newspapers appeared in the 16th and 17th centuries in Europe. The first North American newspaper was called Public Occurrences, both foreign and domestic, published in 1690 in Boston by Benjamin Harris. The colonial government banned it after just one issue, however. The Boston Newsletter, published in 1704 by John Campbell, became the first regularly published newspaper in the American colonies. One famous American publisher was Benjamin Franklin, pictured above, who ran the Pennsylvania Gazette, beginning in 1729. The mass medium stage in newspapers, the Industrial Revolution of the 1800s, led to innovations in publishing, including cheaper paper and more efficient printing presses. The 1830s became known as the penny press era because newspapers like the New York Sun and the New York Morning Herald cut the cost of a newspaper from 6 cents to 1 penny. Suddenly, U.S. working and middle-class people could buy newspapers. Newspapers took off and literacy increased. Newsies sold newspapers on the street corners. Mass medium in the newspaper industry. Yellow journalism. In the late 1800s, Joseph Pulitzer and William Randolph Hearst ushered in the yellow journalism era. Pulitzer's New York World competed directly with Hearst's New York Journal. Both papers sensationalized the news, an early example of fake news, but both papers also supported investigative stories looking into systematic and illegal abuses. Pulitzer supported women's rights and hired female reporters such as Nellie Bly, one of the first investigative journalists. It was dubbed yellow journalism because Pulitzer and Hearst competed for the rights to the Yellow Kid comic strip by Richard Outcault, the first comic strip character in the United States. The convergence stage. Newspapers still exert tremendous influence. It is newspaper reporters who are investigating government officials and questioning authority. Over the years, newspapers have adapted to challenges from radio, TV, and the internet. Convergence, in which older media is reconfigured in newer media, has occurred in the digital era. Now, more people read newspapers on laptops, tablets, and smartphones than on paper. Internet-only publications have proliferated. BuzzFeed, Mashable, Reddit, ProPublica, Politico, Vox, Huffington Post, among others. So I have an important question for you. How do you get your news?